Hey, you. Yes, you. I'm breaking the fourth wall because you know that tab you thought you closed? Well, it's still open and we can all see it. Anyways, a fourth wall breaks in movies can serve a lot of different purposes. It can be a hilarious joke, or it could be used to relay to the audience some vital piece of information. Well, today's video is all about the greatest fourth wall breaks in movies. Did your favorite make the list? Well, what are we waiting for? Let's watch the video and find out. Ferris Bueller's Day Off is an 80s fourth wall breaking classic, but I want to specifically highlight its post-credit scene. In what ends up as a perfect cap for the film, the scene sees Ferris peek out from the bathroom, surprised to see the audience still around.
It's over. Go home.
Although a lot of early movies have post-credit scenes, I always like to think this is the one that inspired the MCU. It's such a hilarious moment of anticlimax. I mean, of course, on a list of fourth wall breaks, you got to include Deadpool. If we didn't include Deadpool, he'd probably find a way to bust out of his movie, come to ScreenRant headquarters, and kidnap Ryan, which means no more pitch meetings. Nobody wants that. But it's hard to choose just one instance of a Deadpool fourth wall break because he does it so often.
Oh, hello.
I think my favorite has to be in the post-credits of Deadpool 2, where Deadpool uses his time travel device to not only save Vanessa, but also to go kill Ryan Reynolds before he says yes to the Green Lantern movie. Classic. Fight Club is either a movie you love or you hate for its subject matter, and it still holds one of the most iconic twist endings of all time. But before that game-changing finale, there's a heck of a lot of fourth wall breaks. The best is probably the scene where Ed Norton's narrator is explaining to us how Tyler Durden worked part-time as a projectionist, where he would cause chaos by subtly splicing in naughty images in films. They'd only show up for a brief second, but they were enough to raise some eyebrows. And the truly fascinating thing is that the Fight Club movie actually incorporates this process too, with spliced in images of Tyler before the narrator ever meets him in person. Adaptation is a mind-boggle of a movie. You should expect nothing less from Charlie Kaufman. The movie stars Nicolas Cage playing Charlie Kaufman as well as his twin brother Donald, who's a screenwriter having trouble adapting a book called The Orchid Thief, written by Susan Orlean, played by Meryl Streep. Honestly, explaining how this movie breaks the fourth wall could be a whole separate video, but basically, the movie the audience is watching morphs into the film Charlie is writing, and it all sort of folds in on itself. I don't know, man, just watch the movie, it will make a ton more sense. Goodfellas is the quintessential gangster film. It features wonderful performances from Robert De Niro, Joe Pesci, and Ray Liotta. Liotta plays Henry Hill, who tells the audience at the very beginning how much he wanted to be a gangster. Sure, he gets what he wanted, but by the end, he's lost everything. The final scene with Henry in witness protection, exiting his house and staring directly at the camera as he gets his morning paper, and he tells us now he has to live his life as nobody, is just the perfect cap to one of Scorsese's best films. The Big Short took an incredibly complicated premise regarding the housing market crash and tried its hardest to help the average Joe understand exactly how it happened. The movie did this by leaning into the comedy aspect as well as stopping the movie whenever a strange or difficult concept was introduced, and using famous celebrities and simple metaphors to break it down. These included cameos from Selena Gomez, Anthony Bourdain, and Margot Robbie, all bringing a unique twist to the standard fourth wall break. The movie also has another great fourth wall break joke regarding how biopics like this need to cut corners in telling the story so it's more interesting to the audience. SNL movies don't necessarily have a great track record, but who doesn't love Wayne's World? A standout scene involves Wayne and Garth taking a stand against the evil Rob Lowe about not selling out. Of course, while this is going on, you may notice a few very subtle, not super obvious examples of product placement throughout the exchange. Let us know in the comments if you were clever enough to see the slyly inserted product placement products in that scene. American Psycho is Christian Bale's best performance. That's right, I said it, and I stand by it. This movie is trippy and will probably give you a better appreciation for both Huey Lewis and for a good business card. But the whole movie is held together by Patrick Bateman's voiceover, which gives us a peek into the mind of a true American Psycho. Oh, that's why the movie is called that. I get it now. Monty Python and the Holy Grail is often rated as one of the best comedies ever. Trying to pick the funniest moment is like trying to decide what to eat at Cheesecake Factory. It can't be done. I'm particularly fond of the fourth wall break when the group of heroes are being chased by the animated monster, only for the animator to suffer a heart attack, saving King Arthur and his merry men. I wish more movies solved problems this way. Things would just be so much easier. For many, Sean Connery is the James Bond. He defined that role so well that not a whole lot of people remember the Bond who came directly after him, George Lazenby. On Her Majesty's Secret Service is a severely underrated Bond movie that stars Lazenby and leans into the comedy a bit more than previous installments. To recognize the lead actor change, the opening scene sees Lazenby look directly at the camera and quip that "this never happened to the other fella."
This never happened to the other fella.
That's kind of crazy when you think about it. Can you imagine Craig's Bond making a joke like that? I can't. Spoiler alert, I'm about to reveal one of the most head-scratching, jaw-dropping, fourth-wall-breaking moments in the thriller Funny Games. Still here? Good. The moment in question happens near the end, where our hero, played by Naomi Watts, grabs a shotgun away from the psychopathic Michael Pitt and shoots one of the home invaders. Pitt is so taken aback by this and then randomly finds the TV remote to shockingly rewind the scene to before Watts grabs the gun and stops her from doing it. It's so shocking because you just weren't expecting that sort of fourth wall break from this type of movie. Leo was robbed for an Oscar for his performance in Martin Scorsese's The Wolf of Wall Street. His over-the-top, insane performance deserved to be awarded gold for his Quaalude scene alone. The movie was a chaotic force of nature from start to finish, but what really kept it all moving was Leo's constant asides to the audience as he explains what's happening around him. But hey, maybe I'm just overexcited because it seems like Leo is talking directly to me, which is kind of a dream come true. What do you do when you get stuck in a movie line with a guy like this behind you?
Now, I admire the technique, but it doesn't hit me on a gut level.
While standing in line, Alan's character has had enough of an obnoxious patron behind him who's criticizing the work of Marshall McLuhan. Well, Woody Allen responds by bringing in McLuhan to rebuke the patron.
I heard what you were saying. You know nothing of my work.
If only life actually worked that way, right? George of the Jungle, starring fan favorite and America's sweetheart Brendan Fraser, taught us all a very important rule: don't mess with the narrator. In one of the film's funniest scenes, two of the bad guys' goons suddenly have enough of the narrator always putting them down and insulting them, so they speak up. To which the narrator responds to them directly, saying it's because he just doesn't like them. Now, I can't think of anything worse in a movie than having the narrator not like you. It means you'll never win, and you're definitely going to have a bad time in everything you do, so just be careful, okay? Kiss Kiss Bang Bang was the start of Robert Downey Jr.'s Hollywood comeback, and it proved he still had major star power. Throughout the movie, we hear RDJ's narration of the events in his classic RDJ style, but the real icing on the cake happens at the end when we get an epilogue scene with him speaking to us and reiterating how mostly everyone got a happy ending. And now him and Perry, played by Val Kilmer, are partners working together. Man, is it too late to make a sequel for this movie? It definitely deserves one. I think it's only a matter of time until Deadpool finds a way to break the fifth wall and somehow maybe enter our reality. Yeah, I think that's the next natural step, so keep your eyes out for Deadpool 3.